What's up guys, welcome back or to the channel. And yes, I know it's been quite a while since I've made a video, and I haven't been making many videos this year now, or last year I should say, because it's a new year, so happy new year. But I will be addressing that at the end of this video. It's just that right now we're going to get to the main reason why you're here, and that's how to get rid of the squishy brake pedal on your Jeep JL or JT. Now I have a JT, but it's the same process on both, and I'll show you guys exactly what I did. And trust me, I was driving around with a very squishy brake pedal that was not very confidence inspiring for the past year. And I thought that's basically just what it was, because I bled the brakes, I checked my brakes, all my brakes are at pretty much 80%. Everything is as it should be, and it was still very squishy. And we'll talk about why it was squishy, but I'll also show you guys exactly what I did and what you can do, and hopefully this will solve your problem too. So sorry for the noise if it gets a little bit loud. It's super windy outside, so the door's kind of just bouncing around and kind of making a little bit of racket over there, but we'll try to get through it. So my Gladiator is lifted. I'm on 37s and I have a 3.5-inch lift. So you can see I'm 6'1" and Jeep's quite a bit taller than me. So she is up there, and if you take a look right back here, I have the brake line extensions. So these guys right here, from there to the actual caliper, are the extensions, meaning that the back had to be taken apart to actually be able to extend it. So they had to be bled because there was air introduced into the system. Same with the front. The front had to be bled, but not because anything was changed. The front, oh sorry about that guys, I just rubbed my mirror. The front still has the stock brake line right there, and there's nothing changed in the front other than the actual suspension and all that good stuff. So the front was bled, the back was bled by me and by the mechanic that installed my lift. Usually I do all my own work, but I had my lift done in the middle of winter and I didn't want to deal with it here because it's a little bit tight, as you can see. And yeah, I paid to have it done. So they were bled by the mechanic that did it for me, and there was nothing wrong on his part. He did nothing wrong. He did everything he was supposed to. However, they were still squishy. So I bled them myself twice. They were still squishy. And I figured, okay, this is what I have to live with. This is it. But no, there is a solution. So if you get yourself a reader that is bidirectional, bidirectional readers are able to send information to the vehicle. So they don't just read information from the OBD and tell you the codes and what's wrong and this and that. You can actually send information to the vehicle, meaning you can do many different things. Let me turn off the light here and see if that helps with the glare. It's a little bit better, I guess. So you can do many different things on here. So if you go to reset, you have a brake reset, oil reset, SAS reset, which is your airbag, battery reset, bleeding, so that's brake bleeding, electronic throttle relearn, TPMS reset, DPF regen, injectors, different things. Now what you're going to be looking for is ABS bleeding, and that's exactly what you're going to need. Now most of these readers, let me turn the light back on so you guys can see again. Now most of these readers won't come with that software built in. This one was around like 200 bucks on Amazon. It is a launch, and I bought it years ago, but this one works great. I haven't had any issues with this, and it did the job for me. So you don't have to have a super expensive one. You don't need one of those $500 or $1,000 readers. You can get away with like a $200 reader. However, you do need to go, and this one, as you can see, has a mall, which means you can go and buy different things for different vehicles. You can buy full packages for full vehicles like Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, Ford, Lincoln, whatever you have, Honda, Acura, BMW, Mini, Rolls Royce, VW Group, whatever you have, you can download the full suite for your vehicle and be able to do all the different systems that that vehicle has, or that vehicle group has, whether or not you buy the Chrysler one or the Ford one or the BMW one, whatever you have. Now what we're looking at is individual things. So you can go to resets, or on here anyway, and you can buy individual things. So what I ended up buying is the ABS bleeding reset. It was $45 US, and that's what basically is the system that you're going to be bleeding, and that's what you need. Once you do the ABS bleeding reset, you still need somebody in the vehicle to hold the brake for you and all that good stuff. But you go around and it'll tell you which one to open. It'll tell you open it, it'll do its thing, and then it'll tell you close it. And then you close it, you keep going, and you go around and you do them all. Let me tell you, after I did that, it was a world of a difference. Now, I could take you guys with me for a drive, but showing you that the brakes work isn't going to be like amazing. Like, it's not going to be that great on video. It doesn't really translate to where you guys can see how much brake pressure I'm adding to how well the brakes actually work. Because the brakes worked before. It's just they were very sketchy. You had to really get into the pedal to get them to work. Now you just barely have to touch them. So I definitely recommend go get yourself a reader, or go to somebody that has a reader, either a shop or a friend or whoever, and do the ABS bleeding. And once you perform that, it should solve all your problems. I did do a manual bleeding of all 4 wheels before I did this, and then this was my last resort. So I don't know if I would recommend doing a manual bleeding first and then going through this, but that was the procedure that I did. So I'm just letting you know that this was the final step that did do it for me, that did fix everything. However, I did do a manual bleeding myself with my friend before, having him sit in the car, holding the brake, me opening each one, and so on and so forth. So whether it was both together of those processes that did it, or whether it was just me doing this process at the end that did it, I'll tell you right now, it didn't make a difference until we did this. So I definitely recommend getting yourself a reader and doing the ABS bleeding or the ABS reset, whatever they call it on your brand of reader. But this is a launch, and yeah, it worked out great for me. So to keep this video nice and short and simple and to the point, that's basically it. So hopefully that works for you guys. Hopefully it helps you guys out and gets you guys back on the road and gets your brakes back to where they should be, because it's not confidence inspiring driving a big old rig, especially when you have bigger tires and a lift and you feel like you need extra room to stop because it doesn't want to stop. And it's not that it doesn't want to stop, it's that the brakes didn't have that feeling until you got right to the end of the brake pedal, and then you felt like, okay, now it's going to stop, but then you had no brake pedal left. So it's not fun, and you definitely didn't want to drive around like that. My one solution, or one way you guys can check if you have the same issue that I had, was when I was driving, if I felt like I really needed to stop quick, if I pushed on the brakes really quickly, but just a little bit, like let's say 20 to 30% of the pedal, let off, and then got back into it and just did your regular braking all nice and slow and smooth, it built up the pressure quick enough that you kind of got yourself enough pressure to kind of have regular brakes again, if that makes sense. I don't know how to explain it. You kind of had to pump them up. And yeah, I get that that was the days before ABS. You had to pump your brakes so they wouldn't lock up, but this was something different. And it was not confidence inspiring. So you don't want to be driving around in your 5,000 or however many pound rig and you feel like you can't stop the damn thing. So highly recommend going through doing the ABS bleeding. It really helped me out. It made a world of a difference. It drives so much better, and actually it probably drives better than stock now, because even out of the factory, these things don't have like the best brakes. And other than going aftermarket, there's not really many options, because if you go to the Mopar website and you look at the Big Brake Performance brake kit, and that is what comes on these Gladiators. So that's a big brake kit for anyone that has a Wrangler, because this is a towing vehicle. So they put the big brake kit on these from factory when you have the tow package, and this being the Rubicon and tow package and all that good stuff, it has all the big brakes. It's not like a world of a difference. I've driven Wranglers and they stop better. And I think it's mostly because of that, the ABS bleeding. So once you perform that ABS bleeding, it makes a world of a difference, and it actually drives great. Like now I actually feel like I'm driving and I can stop. So yeah, but that's enough rambling on that. Quickly, for all the people who are subscribers and have been following along the channel, I do apologize I haven't been making many videos, but as you guys know, last year I did recently move and I just got this place. And well, making these videos isn't exactly profitable for me. I do make a tiny little bit of money, but the amount of money that I spend to make a YouTube video versus the amount of money I make in the end of the month, I don't break even. I always spend money to make these videos. And it's not like I'm making these videos because I love making these videos. I enjoy it. I definitely do enjoy it. I love making the videos to share with you guys. I love getting your feedback. and I love going out there and taking my Jeep out and having a good time with my friends, but it's not profitable. So after I moved here to this place, I had a lot of new expenses, I had a lot of things to take care of, and I had a lot of other places and things that I had to devote my time to. And now that we've been here a year and now we're kind of settled and everything is kind of going smoothly and we have everything that we need and we've done all the different things and I've bought all the stuff and I've spent all the money. So now we're here. And I think I'm going to be going off-roading a lot more this year, and I'm planning to be taking you guys with me, and we will be making more videos. But last year, I had to kind of devote my time to my house, and I had to kind of just take a step back and put my priorities straight because, yeah, like I said, it wasn't profitable, and I can't be spending money on everything and just going into debt. So, yeah, we had to take it easy. We didn't really go off-roading, and we do live a lot further now. So before it used to be 2.5 to 3 hours to get to the trail. Now it's gonna be 3.5 to 4 hours to get to the trail one way. So it's a lot more driving, it's a little bit more gas, and it's a little bit more expenses. So for that reason, we took a step back, but now we're gonna be getting back into it. And I did make a lot of mod videos back when I had my TJ, but with the Jeep JT, I don't have much more mods that I wanna do. I am gonna be throwing a winch on, which I already have the winch plate in that box right there. So I have a Warren winch plate. I will be purchasing a Warren winch to put in there, but I wasn't going off-road, so I wasn't in the spending mood to go buy a winch because winches aren't cheap. So I will be doing a winch soon. I will be doing that mod. But yeah, I don't have too many more mods planned. If there's something you guys can suggest that maybe is useful that you guys use and maybe I might want to use, let me know. But I don't have too many mods that I want to do, and I don't want to just start buying things on Amazon and buying random mods just to make a video for you guys, just to be like, oh, look at this, and then have to either return the thing or whatever. Like, it's just, I'm not making fake videos. So I want to make videos I enjoy, I want to make videos you enjoy, so hopefully we'll be making videos that everybody enjoys. So we will be going off-road, we will be doing a couple mods here and there, but for the most part, I don't want to be just doing filler videos, just making videos just to make a video. So if you guys think of something you want me to showcase or something you want to see, definitely drop me a line, and if it's something I want to do, I'll make a video. But until we hit the trails, I guess I'll see you then. So thank you guys for sticking around. Thank you for coming by today. If you're new around here, jump down there, hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and give this video a share, and I will see you in the next one. So until then, guys, ride safe out there. Peace.